Are you a tenant living in New York City and facing eviction? Listen up, because this video could help you stay in your home a little while longer. Many people don't think about it, but there's a direct interplay between bankruptcy and eviction. This official guidance reveals a little known strategy that could give you a little more time in your home. But most tenants never learn about it until it's too late. The automatic stay that comes with bankruptcy filing can immediately halt eviction proceedings. There are specific timing rules and requirements. These critical deadlines and conditions will determine whether this strategy may work for your situation. As I touched on before, many tenants who find themselves facing an eviction case don't think about bankruptcy, and that kind of makes sense. There are lots of things going on. They're usually trying to think about whether they have any defenses to an eviction or creating a plan to find a new place to live. Most tenants don't know, however, that filing bankruptcy can provide protection between you and your landlord. If you go to the New York State Court website, it's hidden in plain sight. The website states when a residential tenant files a bankruptcy petition, an automatic stay prevents the landlord from bringing or continuing a case to obtain possession and from enforcing a judgment obtained before the commencement of the bankruptcy case. This protection operates under federal law and activates instantly when your bankruptcy petition is filed, creating a shield that your landlord cannot legally cross. Let's talk for a moment about the automatic stay that comes with a bankruptcy filing. The automatic stay activates the moment your bankruptcy petition is filed with the court, creating immediate protection under federal law. This protection operates automatically without requiring additional court orders or notifications to your landlord. The stay takes effect the moment the bankruptcy clerk receives your completed petition, regardless of whether your landlord knows about the filing. This protection isn't the end-all be-all. It's not a permanent solution and has specific rules that can make or break your case. The automatic stay provides temporary relief with strict conditions and deadlines that you must meet to maintain protection. Understanding these limitations prevents you from making costly mistakes that could leave you homeless despite filing bankruptcy. In a bankruptcy case, your landlord is in the same position as any other creditor, such as a credit card issuer. The stay works as an injunction that your landlord must abide by, stopping all collection activities, including eviction proceedings. Just like Capital One or Discover Card have to stop, your landlord cannot file new court papers and cannot take any action to collect rent or remove you from your apartment without a separate court order. This prohibition applies to all collection efforts related to pre-petition debts, including housing court proceedings. Federal bankruptcy law overrides state eviction law, giving you power that most tenants never realize they have. State courts must recognize federal bankruptcy protection and cannot proceed with eviction cases while the automatic stay remains in effect. This federal supremacy means your housing court judge cannot ignore your bankruptcy filing or continue the eviction process. Your landlord cannot continue any eviction case, cannot enforce existing judgments, and cannot take possession of your apartment while the automatic stay protects you. Your landlord also cannot change locks, shut off utilities, or take other self-help measures to force you out. The automatic stay gives you breathing room to reorganize your finances and explore options you didn't have before filing. Some options may include negotiating payment plans with your landlord, seeking rental assistance, or pursuing other housing alternatives without the immediate threat of eviction. This time allows you to address the underlying financial problems that led to your housing crime. Understanding what the automatic stay covers helps you see bankruptcy as a strategic tool rather than a last resort. The automatic stay provides powerful legal protection that can preserve your housing while you work toward a long-term solution. But the real power of this protection depends entirely on when you use it. The difference between filing bankruptcy one day versus the next can determine whether you keep your home or lose it. This timing difference controls how much protection you receive and what requirements you must meet to maintain that protection. Your landlord's eviction case moves through specific stages in housing court, and each stage changes how bankruptcy affects your situation. The eviction process begins with service of court papers and continues through court appearances and hearings, and generally culminates in a stipulation of settlement or a trial where the landlord is awarded a judgment of possession, which gives them the legal right to remove you from the apartment. Each stage creates different rules for how the automatic stay operates. The key timing threshold will be the entry of a judgment of possession. Once a judgment of possession is entered in the eviction case, that acts as a legal termination of the landlord-tenant relationship. Most tenants consider filing bankruptcy too late after their landlord has obtained a judgment of possession and already secured the legal right to remove them from their home. These tenants discover that bankruptcy cannot provide the same level of protection once a judgment exists. If you file before your landlord gets a judgment of possession, the automatic stay stops the entire eviction process completely. The court cannot proceed with scheduled hearings, although they can adjourn them, cannot accept stipulations or settlements, and cannot enter any orders in the eviction case. This creates maximum protection because no judgment exists that could lead to your removal. Your landlord cannot proceed with the case, cannot get a judgment, and cannot schedule a marshal to remove you from your apartment. Your landlord must wait until the automatic stay lifts or the bankruptcy court grants relief from the stay before continuing the eviction case. But if a judgment already exists when you file, the automatic stay has limited power and strict requirements kick in. The judgment remains valid and enforceable, but the automatic stay temporarily prevents execution of that judgment in very specific circumstances. You must meet specific conditions within strict deadlines to maintain this temporary protection. After a judgment of possession has been entered in a landlord-tenant case, a bankruptcy filing may only help in the context of a non-payment case. In a non-payment case, which is a case strictly for unpaid rent, you have until the time you're evicted by a marshal to repay the arrears. If you can pay the marshal the balance owed on the morning of an eviction, then your rights under the lease are restored. If you file a bankruptcy to stay an eviction under these circumstances, where you have the right to cure the default, you'll need to deposit 30 days rent with the court immediately upon filing bankruptcy. The law also requires you to file specific documents certifying your right to cure under state law. After the bankruptcy case is filed, you'll have 30 days to pay the full money judgment or the automatic stay expires, and the landlord may proceed with their eviction. The bankruptcy court doesn't provide notice or hold hearings about this deadline. If you fail to pay the complete judgment amount within 30 days, the automatic stay terminates by operation of law. In considering these situations, filing a bankruptcy case before a judgment is entered gives you maximum protection, while filing after judgment limits the help available and requires meeting specific conditions to maintain any protection. These timing rules explain why some tenants successfully stop evictions while others see little benefit from bankruptcy filing. As you can see, bankruptcy law provides a narrow window for tenants facing eviction, but the requirements are strict and unforgiving. These requirements exist in federal bankruptcy code and cannot be modified by state courts or individual circumstances. The law does not provide second chances or extensions for tenants who fail to meet these precise requirements. Moreover, if a tenant attempts to falsify any documents or attestations in the bankruptcy filing, the judge may enter a bar order against the tenant, meaning no automatic stay would apply in any future case. Missing any single requirement or deadline means you could still be evicted despite filing bankruptcy. The automatic stay doesn't apply if you fail to complete any step properly, and your landlord can proceed with eviction as if you never filed bankruptcy. Courts can't waive these requirements or provide additional time to correct mistakes. As part of your bankruptcy filing, you must file an initial statement about an eviction judgment simultaneously with your bankruptcy case. The initial statement is a document that cannot be filed later or added as an amendment to your original petition, and it's a statement regarding the existence of a judgment of possession and certifying under penalty of perjury that you have the right to cure the monetary judgment under state law. This certification requires you to swear that New York law permits you to pay the judgment and avoid eviction. Making false statements in this document constitutes perjury, which carries criminal penalties, including potential jail time. You must deposit 30 days of rent with the bankruptcy court clerk at the time of filing, not after. You cannot make this deposit electronically or by mail after filing your case. A certified bank check or money orders payable to your landlord must accompany your papers when you submit them to the court clerk. Your landlord must receive proper service of these documents according to bankruptcy court rules. Service requirements include delivering copies of your bankruptcy petition and the initial statement about eviction judgment to your landlord. This process gives you exactly 30 days of protection, during which you must pay the entire money judgment to extend the stay. The 30-day period begins running immediately when you file your bankruptcy case. You can't extend this deadline through court motions or by showing financial hardship. Following these precise steps transform bankruptcy from a failed strategy into a viable tool for stopping eviction even after judgment. Proper execution of each requirement creates legal protection that your landlord cannot override through the state court proceeding. But even perfect execution of these steps doesn't guarantee success without proper legal guidance to ensure compliance with all federal and state requirements. Now, what about an eviction case where a judgment of possession was entered and there's no right to cure a monetary default to be restored to the property? Unfortunately, a bankruptcy filing doesn't help too much in this context. When a judgment of possession is entered in a holdover case, that is the legal termination of the landlord-tenant relationship, and there is no avenue to be restored. Perhaps a marshal may avoid carrying out an eviction because they don't want to be held liable for violation of the bankruptcy automatic stay, but this isn't a circumstance spelled out in the bankruptcy code. The automatic stay offers real protection when you know how to use it correctly. Bankruptcy can buy you breathing room, but success hinges on timing and strict rules. Filing before the judgment offers full protection. Filing after demands meeting the 30-day cure rule. The automatic stay is a powerful tool, but it's not a guaranteed solution. You need legal counsel to determine if bankruptcy fits your specific circumstances. Each case involves different factors, including income, debts, and the stage of your eviction proceeding. Don't wait until it's too late. If you're facing eviction in New York City, contact the law office of Richard Kistner at 718-738-2324 or visit bankruptcy.lorc.nyc for a free consultation. If you found this helpful, hit the like button and subscribe for more info. Until next time, take care, be well, and bye for now.